Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast. This is fifth episode, I believe. Yeah, fifth episode. We're gonna be talking about Big Bend today because I went to the we went to the state park recently, like 3 weeks ago.
Was it 3 weeks ago?
It's about to be a month.
Oh, wow.
It's about to be a month.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let my guest introduce himself. So yeah.
Okay, well, first and foremost, my name is Julian Ramirez. I am a second-year law student here at St. Mary's University School of Law. I am studying to be an attorney. I still don't know what I want to practice, whether that be criminal or personal injury, but it's going pretty good. Um, and I don't know, something interesting about me, or what were you gonna ask?
Oh, your struggle meal. Like when you're so broke that
Okay.
you're like, this is what I have to eat.
Okay, so you know those like microwavable meals that you can get at Walmart or HEB, like those type of meals?
Mm.
Okay, that's literally what I had about like an hour ago.
A lean cuisine.
Kind of, yeah. It was from Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
His macaroni.
Your show meals are fancy.
It was
This is
like
crazy.
$4. But
Gordon
it was
Ramsay.
pretty good. I highly recommend it.
And it was like mac and cheese.
It was mac and cheese with like bread crumbs in there. I don't know. You need to try it. It's pretty good. But yeah, what's your struggle meal?
I feel like mine is always rice and tuna. Such an easy
That really is easy.
It is the struggle meal, and then I have right
Tallulah.
here actually, not my honey, but my rice seasoning.
Okay.
For the people. This is what I put into my tuna and rice so that it tastes good.
Interesting.
But I do like tuna and rice.
I've never had it.
Regular, it's good protein. It's not like too heavy. You've never had tuna and rice? What does that mean?
I mean, I don't like tuna. I've had rice. Never in my life had tuna. It stinks.
Wait.
It really does stink.
You've never had like tuna salad?
Nope.
Your family just doesn't.
They make it. I don't eat it.
You just refuse to eat it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know why you would eat something that stinks, you know, like.
It doesn't stink. It smells like fish.
Oh, yeah, fish stinks.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on my podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. I'm excited because this trip was like one of the best trips ever in my life. And I got to meet you. We didn't know each other before the trip.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
I did get to meet you on the trip.
Yeah, it was.
That's so true.
Yeah, we didn't know each other before this, so this is, I mean, a good trip overall. We went to Big Bend State Park. Big Bend Ranch is what it's called. We did 2 days of backpacking, and then 3 days on the Rio Grande, which was insane to me. That was like the craziest part. It was all funded by Texas National Parks grant that they gave University Ministry here on campus, and Saul was able to put it together. I actually filmed an episode with Saul, and I lost all of the audio.
Oh yeah, you were telling me.
So
I saw him this morning.
Yeah. He was around. I saw the kids this morning. It was awesome. But yeah, so kind of tell me how you found out about this experience, because you're a law student and everybody else was undergrad, and how you got like kind of roped into this, and your first initial thoughts about the experience.
Okay, so I first found out about this program because it was super late at night. I was reading, and I logged on to Gateway to check some assignments, and I saw the banner that St. Mary's had on Gateway, and it was advertising the Big Bend Wilderness Retreat. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I clicked on it, and it said, would you like to go to Big Bend for spring break? And I was like, yeah. So then I signed up, and then I kept reading. I'm like, this is a retreat. This is like a spiritual type of thing. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm down. But there's like a backstory to why I even tried to do this in the first place. Long story short, I signed up. I registered. I got an email saying that I wasn't selected, and then from Saul actually. And
that you weren't selected.
Yeah, that I wasn't selected. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. Like I didn't gain anything, I didn't lose anything, I just registered, you know?
Yeah.
And so he basically said, if someone drops out, then we will do a lottery system, and if you get selected, you get selected. So like a week later, I'm in class, and I get an email from Saul, and he's like, hey, someone dropped out, and you were selected in the lottery. Are you still down to do it, right? And I said, well, yeah.
Mhm.
And so he's like, okay, swing by University Ministries and we can go over the presentation, see if you're still willing to go on the trip. And I was like, okay, cool. Met with him. He went over everything. I thought it was complete. I thought it was funny because he he gave me like the whole spiel about like what it was. He gave me
Mhm.
the whole presentation, and then he's like, so how do you feel about like pooping outside?
Yes, that's exactly what he asked me. That was exactly he asked me. I was like, I don't feel good about it. Like,
I said I didn't mind. I was like, it's part
okay,
of the experience,
you're
like you're
braver than
camping.
me.
I was well, okay. Well, the backstory to this was
Mhm.
ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to go camping. Not like glamping, but like full on camping. And my parents, well, my mom, she isn't about that. My dad, he's more open minded, but like they never were willing to do anything with like the family.
Mhm.
And so I was like, let's go to Big Bend. I tried to go to Big Bend for my 21st birthday, didn't happen. 22nd also didn't happen. Uh, my 19th birthday, I actually wanted to go as well to see um, the stars there because I heard that there's this part in Big Bend where it's actually illegal to show any lights there
Mhm.
because of
Mhm.
the light pollution. And because of that, you can actually see the Milky Way. And that's
Mhm.
something that I've always wanted to experience, but I just never had. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, I was, I guess, kind of going through like a hard part in my life, like getting accustomed to law school, struggling to find time to study, time for friends, things like that. So
Mhm.
I was trying to find, um, I guess, answers with God too. And then I saw that and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I'm getting an ad for this Big Bend Wilderness Retreat,
Mhm.
which I've been wanting to go for so long. It's fully paid for,
Mhm.
and it's a retreat. Like you're going to experience um, new things that I've never experienced before. So I was like, oh, okay, like this is a sign, and I full on just threw myself in there.
Oh
I
my
didn't know
gosh.
anyone. I did not know Saul,
Yeah. It
so
was crazy. I mean, most of us kind of knew each other. I mean, I think I just kind of knew everybody, but you. You're like the only person I'd never seen in my life. And I was like, oh, okay, it's interesting. And then when I found out you were a law student, I was like, oh,
that's why.
like how did he get here? So it was like really cool just to see a diversity of people on the trip. And I was really excited because I didn't have to pay for anything.
hmm
And so I was like, yeah, we're gonna get all this gear and all this equipment and like $400 for you to spend at REI. And I was like, yeah, sign me up for that. And when I signed up, I low key, because I know so like I work in ministry, so like for a moment I was just signing up so he could get the numbers because I know how good that looks to like have like 60 people sign up, like
Mm-hmm.
like so he can get the grant again. And I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna get picked, like ever. And then lo
I
and
thought he just
behold,
picked you.
no, he didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
That'd be crazy, but he didn't just pick me. Like I was in the lottery system. I was like, dang, now I really have to commit to this, like for real,
Yeah, I
because
mean, you could have dropped out
I could have, but my new thing for 2025 is just doing things for the bit and
for
like
the plot.
for
Yeah,
the plot
for the
and
plot
just
thing. Yeah.
cosplaying if I have to. But honestly, I came out of it like full like granola girl. Like I want to just
I want
be.
to do it again.
Every time we see each other, it's like, dude, I want to go back.
Yeah,
It's just
it
insane.
was it was crazy. Again, got to meet completely new people that I've never met before. Such great human beings. Everyone's extremely supportive. I met you. Um, got to know Saul a little bit more. Uh, and yeah, it was a great experience to have experienced with the people that I experienced
I
it with.
agree. That group was amazing. I can't think of another, like just knowing people on campus, like I genuinely cannot think of another group that would have made that experience so meaningful and so beautiful. Like it was just perfect. And like yeah, it was just perfect. Father Don, like he was great. He doesn't even like I had no prior connection to him, so just trusting him to like lead
Mm-hmm.
us in such a beautiful like reflection and prayer was so amazing. I'm really glad he was the priest that was there. Yeah, it was fun. So when you were like, what was the first moment that you were like, oh crap, we're really out here like doing this? Because I don't think I had that moment until like way later in the trip.
Um, it was the first day. It wasn't the Monday that we were backpacking through um, Big Bend. I had drank all of my. We had two water bottles in our backpack, I immediately drank the first one very quickly because I was like, well, I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink it.
Right.
Um, little did I know that the hike was going to last more than like 8 hours.
Mm.
And so the second water bottle went pretty quickly as well. Um, Towards the end of the trip, or like when we started to realize that we couldn't continue, um, that's when I was like, I need water right now. I'm extremely dehydrated. I'm so thirsty. Um, and like, there was other people with water too, but I wasn't gonna go ask for them. Cause I'm like, if I'm thirsty, they're thirsty too.
Yeah.
So I was like, I finished mine. I'm good. That's their stuff. Um, and so Saul, he was like, we need to find water, and I was like, yeah, we do. So he goes, well, who wants to go? And I was like, me, because I
Right.
want
First
water.
dibs.
Yeah, I want
You're
first. I
like,
want water. Um, I mean, obviously too, to bring back to the people, but like, I really wanted water, so I was like, I'm gonna go find water with you and Jose. So we
mm.
went. It was like another hour of climbing uphill and downhill. We found water. Saul had to like dive into these bushes because technically there was like branches. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain, but he was in there, like
Yeah,
in
because it was a creek, so there was things growing out of it, so it was like covered.
there was branches like on top of it
Oh,
too. So he kind of like
dang.
just yeah.
That was rough. That was when we got to that camp. We were supposed to hike the original 7 miles, and then we only made it 5 miles. So we got to that little site that Sol had decided was going to be our camp for the night, and I was so exhausted. And then I heard, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna take Jose and Julian to like go get water." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And like part of me wanted to go, but I knew I was gonna hold y'all back so hard. Like y'all were not
I
gonna
held
make
them
it with
back a little bit.
really.
Yeah,
There was a moment where you just like behind them.
dude, I was like, so hold on, I can. Oh my gosh, no, like it was kind of difficult going uphill with like what felt like 60 pounds on your back, and then I don't know, it was pretty difficult, but uh, like we started going, and I was like, yeah, like we got this, blah blah blah, and I realized that we had to go uphill
Hmm.
for like 2 miles, and yeah, like I had to stop. I had to take a lot of breaks. At one point, I couldn't see Saul or Jose anymore, so I was like, and then obviously like they would stop too to wait for me and like to boom. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
was taking a nap.
With all respect, I don't think like the group would have made it.
Though I
They
really,
really wouldn't have made it.
well, we were just really tired. I think like
That
if we
too.
would have started the next day and done that, like it probably would have been fine. But we were so exhausted. It was really hot, and I mean, yeah, we're in the desert, but I don't think I had consciously like realized
Mm-hmm.
that we are gonna be out there and like doing all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then Saul kept saying like, oh, this is the worst part. This is the worst part. Like it's gonna be the hardest. And it was not every single time. It was not the hardest part. I was like, what is going on? But I think the best part of that experience was just getting like knowing that people had my back and knowing that people were supporting me along the way, and especially when we got to the campsite and everybody was like, oh, like Jose and Saul and Julian are gonna go get water. I could almost have cried like in that
Mm-hmm.
moment because I was like I don't think I would have done it by myself at all. And that is just my favorite part of the experience was getting to be in community in that way, and just kind of having to trust each other because like obviously I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know any like I didn't know people that deeply and that like personally. So just having to trust people with my literal life was insane. And like again, like if it wasn't for you guys, we would have not made it at all because y'all gave us water for the next day.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was like cool that we got to appreciate each other in that way and just
I mean that too, but I feel like that part of the trip really went to show how much we take things for granted a lot. Um, Water, for instance, like I'm lucky to have a faucet, a shower, a fountain right next to my dorm that I can go fill up
mm-hmm,
and drink as much water as I can. And so I feel like going through that, I'm like, okay, well, let me be
conscious.
conscious of my
Mm-hmm.
water usage. Um, just things like that. I don't know what else. Like, I guess food as well. Um, we had to eat out of um, pouches, which I mean, they were
They were
pretty good. They
good.
were really
They
good.
were good. And then on the river, we got spoiled. The river guides were
We really
really
did.
really amazing.
My favorite meal was the salad with the garlic bread and
The pasta?
the pasta.
We had like tortellini or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's what we had.
Dude,
That was really
Chick-fil-A.
good. And the coffee in the morning. That would wake me up. I'm in my tent and I
You're
hear
giving
like the
old man with that.
propane. Okay.
No, I had tea in the morning. It was nice. But yeah, just having it there was also just so nice. Because for the trail, we had to cook our own food and like
Mm-hmm.
wait for people to stop, and like you can just eat whenever. So it was nice that with the guides we were able to just have the food there. They're so amazing. They're cool. What was your favorite part of the river? The
Um,
3 days we were out there.
I didn't like the first day on the
Okay,
river.
we were boating partners. What do you mean?
Well,
We
no, no,
were
no. That part was
we were
fine.
canoe partners. Why
That
didn't you
part
like that?
that part was fine. But like that first day, it was extremely windy.
Yeah, it was.
There was dirt flying into our eyes the whole time. Um, it stopped when we stopped, basically.
Yeah,
But
which
the
was
next
insane.
day, the water was super calm. We were all in the water, and that was insanely beautiful. Like the way, I don't know, like waking up to that and then going back up onto the river, I was like, whoa, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. That second day on the river was the best day for the entire trip for me.
Best
Well,
day.
I didn't go on the hike you guys went on, so
Oh, that would.
that was insane. They climbed another mountain while we were on the river on the Mexico side,
Oh
which is insane of you guys to partake in willingly.
yeah.
I was chilling in the river. I was floating. I was swimming. I was jumping off rocks. It was such a cool experience.
We were getting cut up. I didn't bring pants that day. One would assume we're gonna be on the river, so we're gonna get wet. Why am I gonna bring pants? You know.
Right.
And we weren't planning on hiking either. I think it was just like a spur of the moment type of thing, where someone
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Look at that mountain.
He wanted to
We're
conquer
gonna
that mountain,
climb it."
hit the summit. Basically, that's
We
what happened. He was
basically
just
did.
looking at it. I was like, I see a little light behind his eyes that he wants to go.
I'm kind of glad that he did that though.
I mean, from the pictures, the views are just amazing.
It was like I didn't realize how afraid I was of heights until that moment. It,
Yeah. There was a moment when we did the climb on the trail the first day where I was like, oh, if I like misstep, I will fall back and die.
there was like a part of the mountain where the trail was extremely narrow. Like you cannot walk side by side. You had to walk behind one another. And I mean, you're in the desert. There's no barricade. There's no fence. Like if I could push her, she would fall. You know, like type of thing.
Right.
So.
But he wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't. Because that would be murder.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah. No, it's really cool though. What was your favorite day overall?
Favorite day? Oh, I don't know. I really liked going to the overlook.
Oh yeah,
We didn't have
and the
Nash, we had
national park.
prayer.
Yeah.
That one was really nice. Like watching the sunset. We had evening prayer, right?
Yeah, we did evening
that
prayer.
one was crazy. I was like, whoa.
That was really amazing. I cried.
I mean, she always cries.
No. This is a highly emotional experience.
It really was.
I think, yeah. Even during mass, like I
Cried every time.
did.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
every mass. The one the one I cried the most though is when we were why are you laughing?
Oh, sorry, go.
I cried the most at Okay.
You did cry a lot.
I did. And my cry count was to 14 on the trip. 14 times.
Yeah. You have a note.
I do have notes, yeah. But it was so beautiful. It wasn't even like sad. There was one cry where I was like just angry and like wanted to get it over with and was very upset that I was even there. But it was like more like I had to get through this cry, like pushing. But the mass that I was
like
really
de coraje, like you want.
Yeah, literally the coraje. I wish that wasn't so rage. That's not like the correct word I want to use.
Yeah, like you were crying out of rage. Like you weren't mad. You were just like, oh my gosh, I just want to get this over with type of thing.
Basically,
So,
yeah. But the mass that I was the most emotional at was when we were on the Mexico side, and it was the first mass that he actually like used a rock, because we
uh,
kept talking about finding a mass rock.
no.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
no,
we used it on the
we used that on the trail.
yes,
That's
the
my
second
bad.
day.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
second day. Anyways, the mass was emotional for me because honestly, for me, and I don't think I've shared this with you, but it was the first like time I think my family has celebrated mass in Mexico in like
Mm.
over 12 years because I went to mass when I went to visit. But I mean, for my parents, I was thinking like it's been over like 25 years since they've been able to celebrate mass in Mexico. So that was really emotional for me because I was like, this is like the first
Like
time.
they're doing it through you in a
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
basically. And I was like, I can't believe like I'm here and I get to do this. And it's just like, I don't know, it was just such a cool moment because I felt so connected to the land. I mean, especially the river. I grew up on the coast, so I'm very like I feel connected to the water already, but
Hmm.
just that specific body of water. Because I was telling Saul, it's kind of the way I feel, like the in between. Like I'm not really fully like immersed in American culture
Okay.
or like Mexican culture either. So like
That's a good way of looking at it.
being on the
Yeah.
river was just like what I am in
Insane. Yeah.
essence. Yeah, and it was such a cool moment to
And I
just.
mean, like that morning was insane too. Like it was
Oh my gosh.
fresh. Again, like the water was still. It was early in the morning. I had my cup of coffee. Like we were just there, experiencing it all together, and like it was still a bit like in that sunrise moment. So, um, it was pretty cool to witness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how was your experience in prayer? Because I know a lot of things might have been new to you. I mean, even for me, some of the prayers were like kind of new for me. So, how did you? Was it like intimidating? Because I had a moment where I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
I wouldn't say it was intimidating. It was more in captivating. I would say. It like it's not something new. My brother, he transitioned into a Catholic when he was trying to get married with my sister-in-law,
mm-hmm,
and so I kind of attended um, mass with him once, so I kind of knew what was going on,
mm-hmm,
like a little bit, but I knew, like, I guess for myself, like if I were to have accepted this trip, I would have want to just like thrown myself into it,
mm-hmm,
and so even Saul, he's like, I told him straight up, I was like, look, I'm not Catholic, I'm not religious at all. He's like, no, like it's completely fine. Like, um, this is just like a retreat, like
mm-hmm,
to maybe you'll find yourself. He's like, we're gonna have prayer, we're gonna have mass. Like, you don't feel the need to join if you don't want to or you don't feel comfortable. Um, but like, I didn't want to do that because one, like, when I felt lucky to be going to begin with, so I was like, might as well take advantage of it and just throw myself in there, Um, and so every like prayer, every mass, I was like, I'm gonna go because I was like,
mm-hmm,
one, I owe it to them because like I I could have easily said like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not religious. That's
mm-hmm,
not my religion. I don't care, type
mm-hmm.
of thing. But like being in it, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't understand it, but like being able to experience what everyone else is experiencing was a really cool moment. And even now, like after the trip, like I caught myself like going into the nightly prayer, like looking through it. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I'm like, now I wonder, like I would ask my brother like questions like, oh, like how did you go about like going to class? How would you like, and like I talked to him about it. And um, I think one of the parts of the trip, I think it was Giselle. She's like, how come you don't go get wine? I'm like, well, I can't. She's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
just go like that. And I was like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
And so I told my brother, I'm like, I don't know, like they told me to do like this Wakanda move, like,
Wakanda.
and so
Yeah.
with all respect, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
and
To an
so
outsider, yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do, so I was just like, you know what, like I'll partake in it, but like I'm not gonna not associate myself with it, but like um partake in it, if
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
No, yeah, I think that was the right approach. I'm really glad that was your approach because I didn't know that about you going in. I thought it was like my naive brain was like, oh, everyone here just knows what's going on. So it was really cool to see someone just like experience that, maybe not for the first time, but maybe like in a different setting. Because even for me, like
For
that
sure.
was like insane getting to do mass. Because I mean, for me, mass has grown to be such an important part of my life, and the sacrifice that takes place during mass, um, just as like my what I look forward to every week. So getting to do that in a space that's so like just raw and like just God's creation was insane, because you see
Literally.
these cathedrals and like these churches and they're like man-made, and like obviously they're still so beautiful, but there's such a beautiful thing about just doing it like in the way that
Yeah.
people 2000 years ago were doing it. You know what I mean? It's just like holy crap, like
That's a good way of looking
we're
at it.
really
Yeah.
here. Like the apostles probably, like, especially because the Middle East is like desert land, so you know, like this is like similar to what Jesus was experiencing. It was similar to like what was happening like in the first early days of the church. So it's just like a really cool experience in that sense. And yeah, I mean, it was really nice to do prayer. We've been doing prayer nightly, like as often as we can. I try to host, but some days I'm like super busy. But I think it's also been one of my favorite parts of the trip is the group has been so connected even after. It doesn't feel like one of those things you just do and like
But I think
it disappears.
the reason why it's been so connected is because we went through such a traumatic experience.
It was not
No,
traumatic.
well, no, but yes, it really was. Um, like, I mean, we saw each other at our worsts. We went through the desert. We like it was such a great bonding experience.
Mhm.
Not only physically but like spiritually as well. So I think that really um I guess both of those aspects intertwined really created something special between every single person in the
Mhm.
group where we now like if I see um like anyone else on camp. I saw Carlos today and I was like, "Hey bro."
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey man, how's law school?" So like I don't know, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to experience.
So if you don't make it to our presentation, this is a little preview of what
What could
happened.
be asked and what could be answered. So we're gonna switch this. I'm now taking care of this podcast. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask you a few questions about Big Bend
About,
and
yeah.
your experience
Mhm.
and how everything turned out for you. So, um, how did the treat? Oh my god, I'm
Hey,
sorry. Did the
relax.
retreat?
He's nervous. This is his first time hosting.
Okay. Did the retreat help you feel more connected or in harmony with yourself, others, nature, or spiritually? And if so, how?
I would say yes, 100%. I think this is the most connected to nature I've ever felt in my life. I didn't have the privilege of going camping or anything like that growing up, so it was kind of like my first time experiencing anything like that. I honestly was also on a very spiritual, like weird part of my life. I
Okay.
had this past year has been just exponential like growth in my understanding in my faith and just diving deep into what being Catholic means as a young adult.
Right.
And I had reached a point where I was like, okay, like what now? What do I have to do? Like God, like I wish I was waiting for him to write down all the steps I had to take, which is not what happens. But that was the point I was at. I was kind of like, I have all the things in my hand that I like know I love and know I like value, but like where do I go now? So the retreat was definitely a way for me to just take time away from the busyness and the noise,
Mm-hmm.
which every 2 seconds I was reaching for my phone, like
Yeah. No,
wanting
me
to
too.
like scroll and like all this, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like, there's something wrong in my brain. Like,
I would say one thing that I did not like was the fact that when I immediately got internet connection, I was on my phone. And so I was like, whoa,
mm-hmm.
I rely on my phone so
Like I was
much.
like refreshing, like who has service right now? Like
Yeah,
no, it was horrible. I think that also just made me reflect on like what am I doing with my time? How am I using
that
it?
too.
Am I actually, are these things actually bringing me benefit? And my excuse is always like, oh, well, I'm a marketing major, like I have to be online, but half the time I'm not even working. So that was really a wake up call more than anything. And then also just adding to the having to read Laudato Si, which I
Yeah.
had known about. I knew what it was and understood the concept of what the message was,
Mm-hmm.
but actually diving in and reading what Pope Francis had written and then experiencing nature through that lens was so moving. Just, I mean, yeah, at times it's heartbreaking just knowing that this beautiful land we're on not only like goes through so much because of us, but this is
Yeah.
also causing harm to human beings because of the harm that's being done to land. So it was like, it was definitely a wake up call. That's the way I would kind of describe the retreat, like
For sure.
a reminder that hey, like your job as a Catholic is not only to like take care of people, but to take care of land
Hmm.
and the creation that God has given us, because it's the only one we have, and we take it for granted a lot.
We really do. Being out there, seeing the rocks, the mountains, I was like, whoa.
I think I had my one of my favorite moments was when Isaac was talking about the wasp. Do you remember this?
Yes, and you started crying.
Obviously,
Where is Isaac?
in his room,
Okay, I'm
probably.
gonna call him.
Yeah, do that. But he was talking about how during mass, this little wasp came up to him, and I'm afraid of wasps. Like, no. But the way he was describing this wasp, he like, in my own terms, what he was saying was, I was just happy to be with the wasp because I was becoming one with creation. God created the wasp, and God created me, and that is just such a
Hmm.
beautiful thing to say and
The way
think.
the way he's the way he said it at like in that moment, I was like, okay, poet. And then this one started crying.
Obviously, I mean, it's beautiful. He's just appreciated the wasp
Yeah.
so much. Yeah. How about you? How did this kind of shift your perspective, and how did you grow?
Um. I mean, I mean, said earlier, like it put a lot into perspective because again, we take so much for granted, and being in an environment where we don't have much, but like we have other people to lean on, was like, whoa, like that in its well, in and of itself,
In of itself.
that term, um, I don't know, like,
It just also made me value like people so much more. I think I mean, I hope I value people the
mm-hmm,
correct amount, but I mean, you guys going to get water for us, Isaac kind of straying behind and like making sure I was
mm-hmm,
okay the whole time. Saul like just booking it back
yeah,
and forth for us, like carrying packs when we got tired, and then just company and like different perspectives. Because I mean, none of us are the same in any like way. We have similar interests and stuff like that,
mm-hmm,
but just hearing people's perspective. And there was a moment on the river when we were canoe buddies, and I was genuinely so frustrated because we were not getting it correct, and we were like going the wrong way, we were going too fast, and we kept getting stuck, and I was so mad at myself, but I kind of like snapped out of it because you
yeah.
were so encouraging the whole
I
time.
was
It
like,
was
dude,
like
chill,
we
bro,
did.
we got this. We got it.
I didn't believe myself, but that you like kind of took me out of that, and this the gentleness and the like kindness that you were encompassing throughout that experience was just a reminder of like, hey, you're like taking things for granted,
Mm-hmm.
and in that like just relationships and friendships that you take for granted sometimes was just a nice reminder of like, oh, these people like
Yeah.
have genuine like kind feelings, and I need to stop being so hard on not only myself but just humanity.
Like I would say it was all about connection with people. Um like I said, like it got to the point during the canoeing where we weren't talking, but we were canoeing. I don't
Yeah,
know how to explain it. Like we weren't telling each other like, "Oh, turn
yeah,
this, turn this." Like we knew. We like
we did.
and we were like we knew what we were doing. So
Yeah, we're
it
doing
was
really
pretty
good.
cool.
That was, yeah, one of my favorite parts too, just getting to connect with people in that way.
Okay, so did you realize or reflect on how today's world is maybe too selfish or obsessed with success? And how did the retreat help you think about that?
I mean, I've always kind of thought that a little bit just because I, well, diving deeper into my faith and understanding that it's not about like what we do here, like our success here, but like what we do to get to heaven and like our goodness in that and reaching sainthood. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of already have that perception of humanity that it's way too selfish,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with, I mean, the industry that I'm in is so obsessed with corporate ladders and being CEO and being a millionaire and stuff like that, and I never really found any attraction in that. I just wanted to do good for the world, and I didn't understand what that meant or where that was coming from. But I mean, eventually with the education I've been fortunate to get is just like, oh, you're just like a pretty like conscious person of other people. Like empathetic would be like another word.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the trip itself, like reading Laudato Si and hearing a call to action for not only Catholics but just to humanity as a whole. Because in the book or in the encyclical, he addresses it to everyone, which is like
Right.
not very typical of a pope to do. It's usually targeted, very targeted. But for it to be like general, like, hey, everybody, you should be doing this, was eye opening. And I think, I mean, yeah, I fall susceptible to consumerism very easily,
Mm-hmm.
especially I think coming from a very low income background. The moment I was able to get money and like
Yeah.
spend it in any way that I wanted, I was like, heck yeah, like I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this. I want it to be the best thing because I never had the best. So I think I was easily manipulated into that type of mindset. But after the trip, I don't like. I really genuinely don't care. Like I used to have like wish lists and like, oh, this is what I'm gonna get when I get paid and stuff like that. But it just easily all disappeared because I was so moved by being in such a simple setting
Mm-hmm.
that like
100%.
all of this, like I don't even care about anymore. Like I would do anything to just give this all away and just go
Like
again.
it got 100%. It
Yeah.
got to the point where, I mean, again, we were out in the wilderness. We didn't have a watch, I don't know, a purse, like things that we can like value as consumers. Like you said, I didn't grow up with money either, and so I'm echoing that. Like the chance I had money, I was like, I want to buy this, I want to buy that.
Mm,
But all of that, like, it really doesn't matter
it genuinely,
when you're put in that situation. Like,
yeah,
what is that going to do? It's not
yeah.
going to do anything.
You're like my Louis Vuitton bag is not gonna like get me to survive like my friend Julian is because he wanted to go get water. You know what I mean? Like that just honestly put it into perspective, like the value we put into things. And I mean, again, like I'm susceptible to sentimental value. Like I have all these things in my room. You look around and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with having things. But again, that just stems from my background and also like I just care for things and I didn't have a care for creation the way that I do now. So I didn't really understand how my genuine care for these things was harming the
Mm-hmm.
outside
Yeah.
world. So,
I can completely agree with that. I didn't realize how much I was doing that really affected the world too. Um, and like you said, I really like that um, the Pope generalized the book to everyone and not
mm-hmm,
just singled someone out. Like, it's not just corporations, and that's what I like. It's so easy to say, like, okay, well, what is me
mm-hmm,
drinking through like a plastic straw gonna do, or like
yeah,
things like that, or like me drinking it from a plastic straw versus a corporation spilling
done,
thousands
yeah,
of pounds of waste into the water. Like, compare that to a straw.
yeah,
But and I think that's something that I brought up during the one of the reflection sessions that we had. Um, he basically said you could like having that change in mindset could change someone else's mindset.
mm-hmm,
And so it all starts with you and at home, the people that you tell. And I thought that was a great message for everyone, even for me, because um, again, I was very ignorant to that. I'm like, it's not me.
mm-hmm,
Like, what is just one person gonna do versus this corporation or these corporations?
mm-hmm.
Um, but I it put it into a great perspective in that sense. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I think the idea of empowerment like is shut down by corporations a lot because they know it's gonna create change. So then the idea
Right.
of like you're just this tiny thing, like you're not gonna do anything. I mean, I think that genuinely stems
That's a good
from
point. Yeah.
like these big people and things and corporations that can't are doing horrible things. They want to feed that
Mm-hmm.
and make us believe that and be like make us believe that it's hopeless when like
Yeah.
it's not. Like hope isn't dumb. I think Anna was like she was so adamant about that, and I genuinely do like agree with her on that. Like having hope is not stupid and it's not
Mm-hmm.
naive and it's not dumb. Like it is something that holds us together and makes us do better and be better, which we can all do. So yeah, and I agree with your point about like you being that change and creating like this network of influence, which is why I started this podcast. Like if nobody else is talking about it, like I might as well.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I'm not 100% correct all the time, like at least it's something, and that I hope creates some type of awareness about things that I talk about,
Yeah.
especially something like this where we can be a change. Like, be conscious of where you shop, be conscious of the materials you use, be conscious of where you throw stuff away, where you give it away. Like, a lot of companies will just take donations and then just put them in waste, and it's just like, no, like, find a company that actually will like
That's true.
reuse, replenish, like will actually give it to someone who needs it, versus like somebody who's just looking to sell something that was like a good find, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think going back to what Anna was talking about with hope and not like that is actually something. It's not naive to think about hope as hope, you know, because it's so easy for a person. I mean, I can see it. I saw it in myself. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do anything. Like, I can't do anything. Look at these people. Look at the power that they have. Like, what is one person gonna do? Like, yeah, like I hope it changes, but it's not gonna happen with just me, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I think having hope isn't naive. It isn't childish. It is something that people should value.
Yeah, I agree. Happy Jubilee Year of Hope, everybody. Do you know about that? The
No,
Jubilee Year?
I don't.
Every 25 years, the Catholic Church is in a Jubilee year.
Hmm.
And so they usually pick like a theme or a message they want to convey to the church. And this year,
Hope.
it's hope, and
Oh,
and being hopeful, pilgrims of hope. So like taking that hope to the world. I think this is also like a great. This lined up
I
perfectly for
know.
us to like be on this trip and on in the year of Jubilee. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Did this experience make you feel more connected to a deeper purpose, and did that inspire you to be more caring and responsible?
I think it renewed and replenished my desire to do that. Um, like I said, I've always been very emotionally connected with, just invested in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, going back to the comment about like things being naive, like I think passion is also, if it's not for gain and like money and power and all the things, like passion can be like that as dumb. Like, you're passionate about this, like that's stupid. Like, why aren't you worried about money? Why aren't you worried about like being the like best, like hottest version of yourself? Like, you should be passionate about that versus like me being passionate about people and like caring
Mm-hmm.
for them in service, and you know going out and getting my hands dirty to just do good for others. Like, that's not seen as something valuable because it's
Mm-hmm.
not aligned with societal like standards. So I think it replenished my desire and like the importance to do and partake in those types of things. I'm so lucky to have been in a program that instills that and be in a community that values that. But I know it's very difficult to be hopeful when you're not surrounded by those types of people. So I think it was a good reminder of, hey, like, you're not dumb for caring about these things,
Yeah.
and you're not like, this is the way that you should care about them, and it's meaningful. And especially with nature, I guess like I've touched on it a little bit, but I wasn't that passionate about it. Like, it was something on my mind, and I try to be as conscious as possible,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't realize the depth of the damage that was being done, and also the importance of caring for creation and a more meaningful and genuine way. And I think this trip really drove that message into my heart a little more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, reminded me that there's more that I can do and that I'll never stop growing, especially as a person of faith, especially as a person who wants to follow the gospel so closely, that there's so much more I can be doing. And that even if I feel like I've reached a stage of growth and development, that there's even more to do. So it was just really cool because I feel like I've grown a lot in the past year, but like that single week was like
Oh
the
yeah.
most spiritual growth that I've genuinely like encountered in so long. So
It was a great. I don't know. Like it was such a great experience. I like.
I
I
agree.
can't explain it. Like you just have to. I don't know. Like be in it to
Yeah, I
understand.
don't think that I'll ever be able to put into words
Yeah.
like there's gonna be moments I can describe and stuff like that, but the other beautiful thing is like, I guess we only us, like, we know like what how that feels and what
That's
that
true. I
is.
think that holds a special place. Like with everyone, you know, like it was not a huge amount of people. Only like a select few people got to go. Um, and now we share that common experience with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is extremely special. Okay. So what did you learn or reflect on about compassion and standing with others who are struggling, like the poor or immigrants, especially during your time out in nature?
I think you should answer this one first.
What did you learn or reflect on about compassion and standing with others who are struggling? Um, ooh, it's a very thought-provoking question, I would say. Something that I did learn was just like supporting others when you know that you have given all of yourself to support, like to support yourself, like I don't know, I can't put it into words, but like
Yeah.
being exhausted with myself but still having the strength to help others, if that makes sense, is something that I found very quickly the first day.
Yeah.
Getting water, at one point I was like so like in my head I was like, you need to like press that little satellite button, like the emergency SOS. I need a helicopter to
Bruh.
come pick me up because I'm not gonna make it, you know. But because I guess like one thing that like got me through it was like, and so we kind of uh touched on this a little bit during the trip, but like he was praying and that he saw like the sunset, and I was like, oof, like because that's true. Like when I had like looked up, I was like, whoa, this is nice. Like, and like
Mm-hmm.
I like you guys probably saw it too, but like from a different perspective, you know. And so I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like that I'm getting to, and I think I kind of mentioned this too, like during the retreat. Like I was tired, I was thirsty, dehydrated, my legs were hurting, uh, I felt dirty, but then I was like, oh well, there's others who have it much worse than I do. Like I'm grateful to experience what I am experiencing. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have eyesight, I have legs, I have a body that can help me
Mm-hmm.
carry myself to like deliver the water to you guys. You get me?
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I was like, oh, like I don't have it as bad. Look what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that shift in mentality as well is like, I don't know, like it's something that I have brought back, um, especially with law school. Like there's moments where I don't feel like reading. The readings are extremely long. They're hard readings. It's kind of difficult to comprehend them. They're very rigorous.
Rigorous, yeah. Can't imagine.
And so implementing that like mindset change, I'm like, well, look at me, look where I'm at. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have a roof over my head, I have a bed, I'm in law school. Like people dream of coming to law school to get an education, to become an attorney, to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think bringing that back, or like I don't know, that's something that
Yeah.
I brought
Or
back.
sense of gratitude. Almost,
Yeah.
yeah. Like thankfulness. I think one of my shifts in my spirituality was when I went to a conference and one of the talks was talking about how everything starts with gratitude and then you're able to grow in all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not thankful first, you're not able to ask for things, you're not able to like, ask God to intercede and like help you with the bad unless you start with the hey, thank you God for this today. Can you please help me get through this? So like the attitude of gratitude is such a I think important thing, especially as this day and age, like with all the horrible things happening, like just knowing, like, hey, like at least I'm safe, at least I'm good, and even if I'm going through something difficult, there's something to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there is there is importance in asking God for help, and that we need to do that. But at least for me, the moments where I've really felt His presence and felt just him working in my life is when I'm most grateful and when I open my heart to being grateful. So I think, yeah, the sense of gratitude definitely. And I think the other really emotional part that I experienced on the trip was there was a moment I had a realization where I was like, I'm doing this for fun. You know what I mean? I'm doing this for fun. This is recreational. There's families and people who have to make this journey because of necessity, because they need to get away from
That
what
is so true.
their horrible situation in their home country, and this exact desert is the one they have to cross to get to a better life. and that was like a moment for me where I was like,
I think you started crying.
yeah,
I remember you telling me
I
something about
genuinely
that.
was like so just grateful that
Mm-hmm.
this was a situation where I'm not in harm, I'm not in danger, I'm not escaping something. This is difficult, it's annoying, it's hot, I'm sweating, I feel gross, but at the same time, like, I'm not having to mourn a death of a family member on the way. I'm not having to
Mm-hmm.
like think about my family back home and stuff like that. So just thinking of the immigrant experience specifically was like super emotional for me, especially because my parents went through that same journey. Like they were in the same desert, they were on the same river. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, holy crap, like I'm so grateful I get to do this for fun and gain a perspective for not only my benefit for my community, but also I get to, in a way, experience what my parents did and so many others did in such a like small and tiny fraction of the
Right.
pain and like suffering they had to go through. I think just entering in, like, the word compassion we kind of talked about, like, stems from the word passion, which in Latin translates to suffering. Like entering and suffering with each other was such a meaningful thing because it wasn't like a we were in danger of suffering,
No.
but it was a this is hard and
Yeah.
difficult, but we're doing it together and we're entering into this suffering, and that is kind of the message that Pope Francis drives home about caring for creation is we must enter in suffering with not only creation but the people that it's harming, and in that way we're able to have compassion and be able to care more and love more and just do something about the horrible things happening.
And I think this retreat was a great experience.
um
Those are all the questions that I had for her today.
Yay,
So you did very
he
well.
came
You got.
prepared. I think you should start your own podcast soon.
I should not.
You can be a returning guest, we'll find something else to talk about.
We definitely will.
Yeah, I agree. This is good. I'm glad because a lot of my friends were on the trip, but I really did want to get like a perspective from someone I didn't really get to talk to about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially you mentioned you're not practicing Catholic or anything like that. And I think my podcast I made for other Catholics, but just for young people who are like searching for something and whatever that something means. Like, I'm glad you were able to find meaning and like understanding. That was really cool to hear your perspective and then connect it to like my experience, because I mean we had very similar thoughts and understanding, and I'm again so blessed to be educated in the faith that
Mm-hmm.
I care about so much, but at the same time, like, I take that for granted because like
Yeah.
I know what the things mean, and like, and that's like, it's just really cool to get to talk to someone who like different perspective, and I think that's what is meaningful about connections with other people that aren't in
Yeah.
your circle.
And also going into it very open minded. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get involved with. Just go in it willing to learn. So
Yeah. Any final words for the people of who listen to my podcast?
no. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
It was a great experience. I want to thank you again for having me on your
of
podcast.
course.
Um, but yeah,
All right. Thank you guys for listening. This is episode 5 of En Busca del Cielo. Keep on the lookout for more episodes coming soon. It'll be heavy episodes. A lot of my friends are graduating, so I gotta get them on here before they leave me. So,
you really do.
yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.